Hello, hello, hello. Thank you for joining us in this time and this space. I am Nikki Salas, and this is my beautiful, handsome husband.
Yeah. Am I
Beautiful
beautiful?
and
Am I beautiful or am
handsome.
I handsome?
You both.
Yeah,
In,
yeah.
inside and out.
Yes, thank you, baby. Appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
So we are in Austin, Texas right now.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
By the lake.
actually, this is what,
Lady Bird Park.
yes, Lady Bird Park. It's
Yeah.
beautiful out here.
Mm-hmm.
So we decided just to do a video right here on the spot.
Mm-hmm.
And today is a special day.
Mm-hmm.
And today, go ahead, babe.
What is today?
It's our 10-year anniversary.
Of marriage.
And it has
Of
been,
union.
yes, a beautiful ride,
Yeah.
a ride of growth. Uh,
Sometimes bumpy, but still the nice ride.
yeah, but every bump we were able to overcome, get
Mm-hmm.
through,
Mm-hmm.
because we choose to, and we
Yeah.
want to be with each other.
And that's really what it is. I believe that marriage or any relationship is a choice. Um, and if we keep that on the forefront of our minds, like I said, a bumpy road, but not to saying that that's bad. These situations that come in relationships are meant, I believe, meant to help grow us,
Hmm.
and to actually help strengthen the relationship. Sometimes we want to run from these quote unquote bad circumstances, these problems, but I believe that God, the divine, puts these situations, some situations, some stuff we kind of pick on our own, right?
Right.
But there are how can we learn of ourselves and learn of each other without, going through the
Absolutely.
bumps
Absolutely.
or
And
over them?
last night we had went out to this barbecue joint,
Mm.
Terry Black's Barbecue,
Love and light to you
uh,
all because it was good.
near downtown, and we had a great time, had a wonderful
Yeah.
dinner, and we started to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Nikki asked me, "What have I learned in the 10 years?"
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "Man, this would be a good podcast to talk about, like, what are some of the things that I have learned along the way in our marriage." And one of the main things is change.
Mm.
Um, it's been really sitting in my spirit this morning because without wanting to change, nothing evolves or
Mm-hmm.
nothing becomes or should become better.
Mm-hmm.
And these obstacles that Nikki was talking about, they're meant to stop you. And a lot of times these things are meant to break you up. But really, if you look at it in the opposite way with God's help, it should bring you closer and
Mm-hmm.
tighter and more in a more intimate way,
Mm-hmm.
despite anything that's going on around you or what it looks like or what it seems like, whether it's financial, emotional, physical, all these different things can come and attack you and your marriage. But if you stay together in love and in unity, and that's the thing that keeps everything bonded.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, it was me changing and allowing the change and not being stubborn or uh, not wanting to change, right? Because a lot of, I'm just gonna be honest, a lot of men, you know, we're stuck in our ways. We have these like conditioned masculine, so-called ways where I don't believe we're meant to be that way. We are meant to evolve and be in cohesiveness with your wife, because you're both partners. You're both learning. You want to say something, babe?
Well, it's not to say that you don't want, your man,
Oh,
your husband to be masculine, but I believe that masculine is defined in different ways,
mm-hmm.
um, but I believe that, what can come from relationships, and I can't speak for a man, right? That like I could speak, I'm speaking of him. And we talked about this last night, the changes or the lessons that he has gained from the 10 years is learning to become a better man with,
Mm-hmm.
not from the fixated narratives that he has, been brought up in, and some of
Or
the narrative,
influenced by others.
right, or even the narratives, or what of the teachings of how I was supposed to quote unquote be a woman. We had to break away from that. We had to, yes, allow that to break so we can be molded and made new, And again, when we was talking over dinner last night, Dina was talking about him learning and unlearning at the same time
Hmm.
of what a man is and his definition,
Well,
right? And what a husband can be. Yes.
and just give you one quick example. Like I had told her, humility. As a man, humbling yourself is probably one of the most difficult for men to humble themselves, to keep peace, to keep love in the atmosphere. Because sometimes a man's pride wants to come out and be like, you don't tell me, I don't agree with that, and blah blah blah, and you come off really abrasive, and really in that abrasiveness, nothing is learned in that
Mm-hmm.
process.
Mm-hmm.
But over these 10 years, I've learned that sometimes it's better off uh,
Release.
to just subdue yourself so that both people can understand and
Mm-hmm.
try to learn from one another. Because, of course, you're not going to agree with everything, and you shouldn't agree with everything, but you should come together and meet somewhere in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
And that is one of the examples that I learned, is to be the peacemaker, through humility.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and the marriage will last a lot longer.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Well, and to me, it's not even about the length of time of being with someone. It is the quality of time that
Hmm.
you have had and will have with someone. Um, you know, that makes me think of, the saying of, and I know you guys have heard this before about a life lived on this earth, right? It's not really about the time down here. It's about the quality of life. It's how we spend our life, how we spend, you know, this energy, this being that we are. Are we using this time, this precious time, which is like a blink, right? Even if we live here 100 years, it's still not a long time, in this vast universe, right? There's trees, there's turtles that live longer than humans. So we have to make the best of it. And that's what I want in our marriage. That's why I know that he wants in our marriage is where we have learned, okay, how can we make the best of it? So even this time right now while we're, doing this video, it's, let's making sure we're giving our message right. And it's not about the length of the time of the video. It's about the message that we're sharing
Right.
with you all, and we're so grateful for you all and the time we're spending with each other. And I think that's what we all can focus on, right? No matter what kind of where you are in your relationship, is, hey, am I making the best of this? Something I ask myself, something he will ask himself, something I encourage you to ask yourself, how can I make the best of this? And then if your partner, your significant other, is keeping that on the forefront of their mind, then it is my belief that better decisions will be made from that, which will produce just a better
Right,
living with
because
each
if
other.
because if you're always at each other's throats,
Mm-hmm.
or angry, or in secret you have uh, malice or bitterness towards your partner,
Mm-hmm.
like she said, you're gonna make bad decisions. But when everything truth clears the air, you have conversations, you talk, you work things out. I mean, that's when you get the fullness of a marriage. Because, and many of you know that I've been married before, and
I have as well.
you know, I understand now from that previous marriage that I didn't get the fullness of what a marriage was supposed to be, right? And now in the process here, we're living it now. And of course, nothing in life is guaranteed,
Mm-mm.
So, but where we are at in this space right now, in these 10 years, I'm happy to have chosen her, and she's happy to have, at least I think so, right, babe?
Yes.
All right, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is why we like to have fun, we like
Mm-hmm.
to enjoy each other, we like to travel, we like to spend time together, talk, you know, argue, you know what I'm saying? Because sometimes an argument, it's supposed to happen
Mm-hmm.
so that you won't argue later.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, when you're not telling, this is another thing I learned. Be honest, tell
Mm-hmm.
the truth. What you're feeling, even if that person's gonna get upset,
And let the cards fall how
and
they
let the
may.
chips fall where they may,
Mm-hmm.
because you're better off doing that instead of holding it in,
Mm-hmm.
and then it comes out in your behavior,
Mm-hmm.
and then all of a sudden the person does one little thing and bam,
Mm-hmm.
you know, you're going off on them, and it turns into this whole other fiasco, when in truth it was really because you didn't express your truth.
Mm-hmm.
So I express my truth. I'm always expressing how I feel, how I'm thinking, what's going on, you know, to bring, like Nikki says, transparency. I know everyone says transparency, but you know, to me, it's just being honest,
Yeah.
because how can the other person make decisions or better choices if you're not really
Mm-hmm.
understanding the other person or
Mm-hmm.
trying to seek that
Because
understanding?
the lesson isn't only about you. The lesson is, especially when you're in a relationship, right? It's about the both of you and how the both of you can be better. Again, like I said, these situations come to grow you, to help you to evolve, to, strengthen, even what you may have known before. As we are on this earth, we are on a journey, right? And it's consistent, whether we are middle aged or seasoned people, as we like to say, the learning of our lives
Hmm.
individually or even as a marriage does not stop. It does
Right,
not stop at 10 years. It didn't stop at 1 year, definitely. It didn't stop at 2 years. Thank God it didn't,
right,
because we would not have received a lot of valuable lessons.
right.
One of the things, so again, we had talked about last night, what have you learned within the last 10 years? I know for myself, one of the things I have learned is patience,
Mm.
and the importance of patience, not only with him, but even with myself. Because, like he has said, me as well, I have been married before. And because of, previous or prior um, relationships. And I'm not gonna sit up here and say that they were bad, but because they were life lessons. As long as I gained something from it, to me, this is my definition. To me, there's nothing bad from it, right? So, what I received from that was, oh, okay, I talk about my problem. I talk about my problem to you. You're not listening. You're um, not trying to make this better. And because of that, before I had to unlearn that, right? I had to say, hey, this is a different person. This is a new
Hmm.
person. This is a new experience. Let me allow myself to be patient with him and give him time to learn. Because in the beginning, it was very rocky. It was us, unlearning, both of us, unlearning, previous situations we went through, healing, getting, sloughing off that hurt from before. And I'm
Hmm.
pretty sure them people was sloughing off hurt as well. Because I'm not
Hmm.
gonna sit up here and say that I was, this perfect person. But I feel like in this imperfection of all of our lives, we can allow ourselves to be better.
Yes.
Can we be perfect in this lifetime? I personally cannot say that. That's just my feeling, my belief, my definition. But I believe we can get better. And if we're seeking to be better,
Striving
it's
for
it's it's
for
it's
perfection.
attainable,
Yeah.
because like I said, we could have gave up week one, month one. The first month, the first year.
Because she was ready. Tell the
Yeah,
truth.
yes, because there was a few times I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna be able to do this. He's not listening, or even me. Well,
That's
another
another
thing
thing.
I had to learn too, like he said about being honest, because of prior situations where I would be like, well, no, it's no use of me saying anything because he's not gonna listen. But he's a different person, so I had to give him a chance, tell him my truth, and again, it wasn't just about him doing this or doing that. It was about me. It was about me learning to express myself and
And
being
and
honest
have
and release.
self-control.
Yes,
Hmm.
it was self control as far as, knowing what to say, and I feel like now we're in a space, or a better space, where we can, hey, this is how I'm feeling. This is what's, going on. Are we going to like it all the time? No, but if we're seeking to understand, we're seeking to, like we said earlier, but making the best out of our time to make the best out of our relationship. It's like, okay, he said this or she said that, so let me process this, try to understand this so we can be in a better relationship.
Right. And this is why, for me anyway, why we even do these videos. Okay, I'm going to tell you why, and I'm going to talk about the main number one thing that I've learned in a marriage. So just hold on to the end on that one. But um, God, I lost my train of thought. So let me just talk about the number one thing then. Oh, now I remember. It's the passion of why we're doing these videos. Because for me, in the previous marriage and then after the marriage, you think you're never going to find somebody. There's no way, there's no one out there that understands me. There's no good men out there, no good women out there. You start to tell yourself these narratives that are absolutely false. And this is why I'm saying that, as of today, we are a testimony that you can have a healthy, loving marriage if you learn to die to yourself and you learn to put the other in front of you and you learn to acknowledge the other and you learn to be mindful of the other person. And when one person is doing that only, yes, of course, it's going to get frustrating. But this is the number one thing for me. I incorporate God into my marriage. And I'll tell you what I mean by that. Because there's been some situations between me and her that there was nothing I could do, right? So, but I went to, as they say in God's word, go to the throne. I went to the throne. I said, God, I need help. I need you to show me, teach me, show me the errors of my ways. Tell me how to be better. Show me how to talk more gentle. Tell that I'm talking to a lady and a woman, that I'm not talking to another man, and in the same manner. So, naturally your nature starts to change slowly when you ask God to do it for you. Because when you try to do it yourself, you're gonna mess it up every time. And I know that don't make sense to a lot of people, but if you just want to change and you want to be different and want to be a better husband, a better man, a better business person, you have to ask God to change your character and your heart and the things that are going on in your mind, because that's the whole source of everything. And
Because
that's
a closed heart can't. I mean, it makes me think of. Excuse me, I didn't mean to cut you off. It makes me think of the cartoons, or where you see Cupid shooting, the arrow to get to that heart. It's like, how can you allow love in? How can you learn? Allow just lessons, anything, if you just constantly, or just keeping yourself blocked.
yes,
Yeah.
because you know how they say that saying, a closed mouth don't get fed. Well, it's the same way, a closed heart don't receive.
Won't receive love either.
won't receive love. And in this marriage, I've learned to trust, okay, because that's incorporated with, and it's the practice of trusting God in the things that you can't see, that believing and understanding that everything is going to be okay when we go through our issues. It's all going to be all right. Everything's going to be okay. I just can only control me and do what Dino has to do to keep in his right way of thinking, right way of acting, and right way of being. I can't control what someone else does, but you just hope and pray that through your example, through your humbleness, through your love, through your own respect, that it gives off an example. And those are some of the main things that I've learned in these first 10 years. And one more thing, keep people out of your business. When you keep people out of your business, it keeps out the influences, because sometimes we are influences unconsciously and unknowingly, and we act a certain way when, you can immediately tell when you've been influenced by somebody else, because your whole behavior changes. So the person that does that is actually a weak person. It's actually a person that's unconscious of what's happening when someone's trying to influence you according to their life or the way they're acting or the way they're living, and they want to pour that into your marriage or your friendship or your relationship. So you have to be mindful of that.
Yes. So, and again, I just want to, piggyback on that about being mindful. Now, of course, if anybody is in danger or something like that, yes, you should say something to somebody. And if you are having an issue voicing yourself, then I suggest that you seek professional help, whether that be a therapist, life coach, somebody that you can
Nikki's
somebody
holistic coaching. Yes.
somebody that you can trust and that can give
Hmm.
you honest feedback, and then of course leading with love, right?
Hmm.
So because sometimes, people are in relationships where they're not being heard, and I understand, I understand what Dino's talking about as far as telling, just any and everybody about your situations. No, we don't believe in that, but we do believe in getting out what you are going through so it can be resolved. Yes.
Hmm.
Okay.
Is that it,
Anything else?
sweetheart?
Yes.
I think that's it. I mean, there's so many more lessons that we have
Yeah.
learned, but we'd be on this video for hours.
And we want to enjoy the rest of this beautiful day.
Yes, we're gonna finish our walk. Probably go back downtown and have some lunch and enjoy the rest of the day. But we thank you for joining us, and we'll see you on the next one.
We wish you all well. Peace and blessings. Bye bye.